You have the proof right in your hands. You caught them in a lie, a betrayal, a contradiction, and you finally confront them. You expect an apology. You expect them to break down. But instead, they look at you with total calm and flip the script entirely. Suddenly, you are the one on trial. You are being interrogated for violating their privacy, for being paranoid, for suffocating them. Within 10 minutes, your airtight evidence is forgotten, and you are apologizing to the person who just betrayed you. Here is the cold, unsoftened truth about human interaction. We are all walking algorithms, and you are being hacked. As behavioral engineer Chase Hughes brutally states, we are, if you are not doing the programming, you are the one being programmed. The world's elite, interrogators, intelligence officers, and Machiavellian executives do not rely on luck. They rely on the architecture of human behavior, utilizing techniques like Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP, subconscious behavioral engineering, and deception detection to control the narrative of reality. By the end of this 22-minute masterclass, you will no longer be susceptible to these covert tactics. You will learn to read the invisible cues analyzed by experts from the behavior panel and the behavioral arts, and you will master the psychological programming decoded by Chase Hughes and Michael Pace. You will become a human lie detector, capable of engineering any social dynamic. But first, you must take control of your own mental infrastructure. Go to the comments right now and type this exact affirmation. Do it now. Claim your sovereignty before we begin. Here is the ultimate playbook for advanced behavioral engineering and deception defense. Experts in deception detection, like the mentalist Spidey from the behavioral arts, rely on a foundational principle. You cannot detect a lie until you establish the truth. This is called scenes. Before looking for anomalies that indicate emotional distress or deception. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The naive look for cliché signs of lying, like avoiding eye contact, and constantly misread the situation because they don't know the person's baseline. The Machiavellian systematically maps their target's normal nervous system responses first, turning their target's body into a polygraph machine. Actionable behavioral cue. The next time you meet someone you need to evaluate, watch their blink rate, the speed of their speech, and where their eyes naturally drift when they access a real memory. Then, ask the high-stakes question. If their blink rate suddenly spikes, or their vocal pitch changes from their baseline, their mask is slipping. You have found the lie. Michael Pace defines a dangerous psychological reality. The person who holds the balance of power in any given situation is able to transfer their emotional state onto the person they are interacting with. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The weak enter a room and immediately succumb to the dominant energy of the space, allowing others to dictate if they feel anxious or calm. The sovereign strategist uses the tactic of actionable script. When you are dealing with a frantic, aggressive, or hysterical person, do not tell them to calm down. First, match their state exactly. Mirror their physical posture. Speak at their exact volume and tempo for 10 seconds. Say, once you reach that hook point of subconscious rapport, drastically lower your volume, slow your tempo, and drop your pitch. Say, because you built rapid rapport, their nervous system will involuntarily synchronize with your sudden calmness, giving you total control of the room. Dark psychology recognizes that out-and-out lying is a rookie's game. Master manipulators prefer, providing them with plausible deniability. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The weak tell blatant lies that can be easily disproven with facts, cornering themselves into a trap. The Machiavellian uses implication to plant a seed in the victim's imagination, forcing the victim's own mind to fill in the blank spaces and create a false, idealized ease of reality. Actionable script. If a manipulator tries to imply they have wealth, status, or loyalty without stating it, force them out of the shadows using the tilt your head, narrow your eyes slightly, and speak with absolute clinical precision. Say, are you specifically stating, insert exactly what they are implying, or are you just suggesting it? You instantly strip away their plausible deniability and force them to either commit to a verifiable lie or retreat in embarrassment. Chase Hughes details how true influence requires bypassing explicit skepticism by utilizing subtle nuances in speech slip. Variations in pitch, loudness, and tempo can implicitly communicate authority and instill an intrinsic sense of compliance deep within the subconscious. The weak versus strong dichotomy. Most people speak purely to convey information, letting their voice pitch up at the end of sentences, which subconsciously signals weakness and seeking approval. The behavioral engineer weaponizes tonality, using a downward inflection to turn every question into a subconscious command. Actionable behavioral cue. When you need someone to perform a task they are resisting, give them a choice where both outcomes benefit you, and use a downward inflection. Drop your chin slightly. Lower your vocal pitch at the end of the sentence so it sounds like a finalized fact, not a request. Say. The downward pitch bypasses their resistance, making compliance feel inevitable. Michael Pace outlines a specific tactic of deception called omission, where a manipulator avoids a topic by creating an answer. They imply that a specific period of their past or a particular topic is too painful to discuss, making the victim feel guilty for even asking. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The highly empathetic victim retreats immediately, prioritizing the manipulator's fake comfort over the truth, allowing the deceiver to hide their dark past. The Machiavellian recognizes the unapproving, actionable script. When someone uses fake trauma to dodge accountability, deploy this step. Keep your face entirely neutral. Offer zero physical comfort. Speak with a flat, unwavering tone. Say, "We don't have to discuss your feelings about it. We only need to discuss the facts of what happened." You have just separated their emotional manipulation from the logical reality they are trying to hide. The most advanced manipulators, studying NLP in the frameworks of Chase Hughes, know how to use the weak versus strong dichotomy. The weak beg for what they want, meeting a wall of conscious resistance. The behavioral engineer embeds commands into the subconscious by placing them inside a narrative where the target's logical brain is temporarily suspended. Actionable script. You want someone to trust you implicitly. Do not ask for their trust. Tell a story about a third party. Maintain relaxed eye contact. When you hit the bolded words, slightly increase your volume and pause for a microsecond after. Say, their conscious brain hears a story about your colleague. Their subconscious brain absorbs the direct command to trust you and let their guard down. Behavioral mapping dictates that all humans are driven by a set of essential motivations, which Chase Hughes categorizes into primary needs and supplementary needs. If you map a person's unmet needs, you hold the keys to their compliance. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The naive interact with others based on what they want, ignoring the hidden drives of the person across from them. The Machiavellian uses and then strategically provides and withholds that exact resource to create dependency. Actionable behavioral cue. Listen to what a person complains about the most. If they complain that their boss never notices their hard work, their fundamental motivation is validation. Say, your attention to detail is the only thing holding this project together. You have just fed their deepest psychological starvation. They are now subconsciously bonded to you now. Manipulators frequently use this exploits your biological urge to help, leaving you drained and deeply indebted to their chaos. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The weak savior rushes in, bleeding their own resources, time, and sanity to fix a problem the manipulator intentionally designed. The sovereign mind lets the manipulator burn in the fire they set. Actionable script. When they text you in a panic over a manufactured, dramatic emergency that they created, deploy the decline to rescue protocol. Delivery direction, wait exactly 45 to respond. Show you are not at the mercy of their urgency. Reply simply, "That sounds incredibly stressful. I'm confident you'll figure out a solution." You offer zero leverage, zero energy, and zero supply. Forensic experts like Derek Van Schaik highlight a powerful interrogation tactic called manipulators use this daily to get you to accept unacceptable behavior. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The reactive person gets caught up in arguing over the scale of the disrespect. The strategist recognizes minimization as a confession of guilt wrapped in an excuse. Actionable script. When they say, "I am addressing the fact that it exists at all. Do not do it again." You instantly reject their minimization and assert absolute authority over your boundaries. The ultimate law of dark psychology, synthesized by Michael Pace and Robert Greene, is the meticulous separation of public persona from private intent. Machiavellians maintain a flawless, polished portrayal in public to mask their cold, calculating reality. The weak versus strong dichotomy. The emotionally chaotic person wears their heart on their sleeve, broadcasting their insecurities, anger, and intentions to everyone, making themselves an easy shade. The Machiavellian wears the actionable behavioral cue. When someone asks you a probing question about your personal life or your next strategic move, do not over-explain. Give a warm, utterly meaningless smile. Say, "How are things going with your new project?" You give them a socially acceptable platitude, reveal absolutely zero actionable intelligence, and immediately deflect the spotlight back onto their ego. Knowledge without execution is nothing but an illusion of power. Your comments dictate the next curriculum. The line between a victim and a master strategist is drawn by those who take action. If you're ready to stop being programmed by your environment and start writing the code to your own reality, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. I am building a comprehensive library of psychological sovereignty. I need you to direct the next strike. Go to the comments right now and suggest our next deep dive. Do you want me to decode the terrifying mechanics of cult brainwashing and the Stockholm Syndrome? Or do you want a masterclass on the dark arts of psychological seduction and covert romance? Your comments dictate the next curriculum. Finally, before you leave, lock in today's mental reprogramming. Drop this final, undeniable affirmation in the comments.